Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into one of our most powerful, yet maybe least understood senses, our sense of smell. We're going to uncover the fascinating science that makes certain scents feel, well, almost magical. I mean, can it? For thousands of years, cultures all over the world have pretty much said yes. They've used specific scents in rituals, medicines, even potions. But is that just superstition? Or is there something real, something scientific going on when we smell something? To start, let's actually travel to New Guinea. There's an ancient practice there that just perfectly captures this powerful, almost supernatural connection we seem to have with scent.
Okay, so the Umayyad people have this concept called octasap. It's basically the special perfume they make from ginger and other plants, and they believe it works as pig-killing magic. The whole idea is that the smell itself has a power. It attracts wild pigs, which makes their hunt successful. And get this, it's not just about covering up the hunter's scent. It's about projecting an irresistible, magical force through nothing but an aroma.
You know, the anthropologist Alfred Gale really hit on something here. He pointed out that smell just feels different from our other senses. It's invisible, it's hard to describe, and it's so emotional. It kind of feels like magic, even to us today. So, let's investigate the first big clue to this power, the surprisingly complex way our own bodies get involved.
So here's the thing. It turns out that smelling isn't some passive process that just happens to us. Nope, it's an active, physical skill that we're all performing whether we realize it or not.
Think about it for a second. Sounds and sights, they just come at us, right? We just have to be there to receive the information. But smell is totally different. With smell, we have to go out and get it. We actively hunt for those scent molecules by capturing them with a sniff. It's an act of pure acquisition.
And this active part of sniffing? It was a huge headache for early scientists who wanted to measure smell perfectly. Back in the 1930s, a neurosurgeon named Charles Ellsberg was so obsessed with controlling all the variables that he actually invented something called a blast injection method. He would literally blast odorized air directly into a patient's nostrils to bypass the sniff completely.
And at the time, the media just loved it. The New York Times called his invention epical, saying he'd finally created a scent yardstick. It really seemed like a massive breakthrough. But, and this is a big but, there was one huge, unavoidable problem.
Yeah, the data he was getting was just a mess. It was all over the place, inconsistent, impossible to replicate. And eventually scientists figured it out. By trying to eliminate the uncontrolled sniff, they had actually thrown out the most essential part of the whole process. The method was a total bust.
And get this. Years later, some amazing research by psychologist David Lang showed us just how incredibly efficient our natural sniff really is. He found that just one, natural sniff gives our brain as much information about a smell as taking 7 or more sniffs. Our bodies have absolutely perfected this.
In fact, your personal sniffing style, how many sniffs you take, how long they are, how forceful, it's so stable and unique to you that it's basically a fingerprint. Our brain is constantly fine-tuning our sniff in milliseconds, pulling back for strong smells and going deeper for faint ones. So the big takeaway here is this. The physical act of sniffing isn't separate from the smell. It is the smell.
Okay, so now we get how we smell. But what is it that we're so often smelling? I mean, where do these powerful aromas that just captivate us actually come from?
Well, a huge chunk of the world's most powerful and historic aromas, from the frankincense used in ancient rituals to that fresh smell of a pine forest, they all come from plant resins. These are those sticky, aromatic substances that you see oozing from trees and shrubs all over the world.
So what is resin, really? Chemically, you can think of it as a plant's liquid armor. It's this super complex cocktail of organic compounds that a plant uses to defend itself from things like insects and infections. And its unique chemical properties are exactly what make it so potent to our noses.
And this is great because it clears up a really common point of confusion. We often use the word gum when we're talking about resin, right? But chemically, they're complete opposites. As you can see here, real gums are made of sugars. They dissolve in water. Resins, though, are lipid-based. They're oily, they won't dissolve in water, and that's absolutely key to their aromatic power. This slide really illustrates the cool dual nature of resin. See, it's made of 2 parts. First, you've got the scent, these tiny volatile molecules that just fly off the surface and travel through the air to our nose. That's what we actually smell.
And then you have the body, the bigger, non-volatile molecules that don't evaporate. They're what make resin sticky and cause it to harden into stuff like amber over millions of years.
So, we've got the physical skill of sniffing, and we've got the chemical source of the scent. But there is one final, incredibly powerful ingredient that truly makes a smell feel like magic. And that ingredient, it's our own brain.
Okay, let me tell you about this fantastic experiment from way back in 1899. A chemistry professor, Edwin Slosson, told his class he was going to test how fast a new, powerful chemical odor could travel. He uncorked a bottle, started a stopwatch, and just asked students to raise their hands when they smelled it. Within 15 seconds, the front row's hands shot up. By a minute, 3/4 of the entire hall claimed to smell it, and some felt so overwhelmed they were about to walk out.
So here's the twist. There was no chemical. The bottle was just filled with distilled water. The students smelled something not because of molecules in the air, but because their brains were told to expect to smell. Slosson's little prank perfectly showed the immense power of suggestion in our sense of smell.
And this isn't just some quirky old story. Modern science has confirmed this again and again. In one study, a psychologist named Pamela Dalton gave people the same neutral odor, but told each group a different story. When she told them it was a potentially harmful industrial chemical, people rated it as intensely strong. But when she told them it was a pure, natural extract, they perceived the exact same odor as much weaker. Your brain is the ultimate spin doctor.
So, what this all means is that our perception of a smell isn't just a direct report of the molecules around us. It's a whole perception constructed by our brains, and it's heavily influenced by our expectations, our memories, and whatever story we're being told. As the scientist Avery Gilbert puts it, the brain easily trumps the nose.
And this brings us right back to where we started. The magic of a smell isn't just in the bottle or the plant. It's a collaboration, a team-up between complex chemistry, the physical art of sniffing, and the incredible storytelling power of our own minds. When those three things come together, the experience can feel truly magical. And it really makes you wonder, if our brain has this much control over our sense of smell, what other realities is it shaping for us every single day?